Have you ever noticed how some people can walk into a conversation, say almost nothing, and still somehow feel incredibly confident? They aren't talking louder. They aren't trying to impress anyone. Sometimes they aren't even particularly expressive. It's just the way they use their eyes. Because before people fully process your words, they are already receiving information from your face, your gaze, and your attention. Your eyes can show where your attention is going, help regulate a conversation, and communicate social information. And direct eye contact can make an interaction feel more engaging and attention demanding. But here's the problem. Most people think good eye contact means just stare into their eyes. No, that's how you turn a normal conversation into a staring contest. The real skill is knowing when to look, how long to look, and when to look away. And today I'm going to show you 7 eye contact tricks that feel almost illegal because they're so simple, but they can completely change the way your conversations feel. And number 7 is the one most people get completely wrong. Trick number 1, the soft break. Let's start with the easiest one. How do you break eye contact? Most nervous people do this. They look down immediately. Their eyes drop to the floor. Their phone, their shoes, anything except the other person. But here's the trick. When you naturally need to look away, don't make it dramatic. Let your gaze move away smoothly. Look to the side for a moment. Take in the room. Then come back. That's it. Why does this matter? Because gaze isn't just about staring at someone's eyes. It's part of the entire flow of a conversation. Research on real social interaction shows that gaze can help regulate things like attention and turn-taking, while the meaning of direct or averted gaze depends heavily on context. So don't treat eye contact like an exam where you have to keep your eyes locked on one target. You're having a conversation, not guarding a security camera. And here's the important part. Don't force the technique. If you need to look away, look away. Just make the movement natural. The goal isn't maximum eye contact. The goal is comfortable eye contact. Trick number 2, the 1-second hold. Now, this one is tiny, but that's exactly why people miss it. Imagine you're talking to someone. They finish their sentence. There's a tiny pause. Most people instantly look away. Instead, stay with them for just a brief moment. Then naturally break your gaze. Think, connect, pause, release. Not connect, stare, never blink again. Why can this feel different? Because mutual eye contact can capture attention and make an interaction feel more engaging. In experiments, mutual eye contact has been associated with greater attention compared with simply looking at someone's profile. But here's where people mess it up. They hear, hold eye contact longer, and suddenly they're staring for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Don't. Direct gaze can have different emotional effects depending on the person and situation. What feels warm in one context can feel uncomfortable in another. So the trick isn't stare longer. The trick is don't panic and escape too quickly. Sometimes one calm extra moment is enough. Trick number 3, the face triangle. Now let's make this more interesting. When someone is talking to you, don't think of their eyes as 2 tiny targets you have to lock onto. Look at their face as a whole. Eyes, face, eyes, and occasionally another natural point on the face as you process what they're saying. Then return to their eyes. This creates something that feels much more natural than trying to hold one eye like you're trying to win a laser battle. And there's a reason this works as a communication habit. During real conversations, people don't look at faces in exactly the same way all the time. Where we look can change depending on what the other person is doing, whether they're speaking, and what information we're trying to understand. So instead of thinking, where should my eyes be every second? Think, what am I paying attention to right now? If they're telling you something important, look at them. If you're thinking, a brief gaze break is normal. If they smile, you can naturally look back at their face. You're not performing eye contact. You're having a conversation. And that difference is huge. Trick number 4, the return look. Now here's a subtle one. Someone is talking to you. You briefly look away. Maybe you're thinking about what they just said. Then you look back. Most people return their gaze for half a second and immediately look away again. Instead, when you come back, stay present for a moment. It's almost like pressing a reset button. Look away. Process. Return. Why? Because gaze can communicate attention. When someone looks directly at you, it can signal that their attention is directed toward you. When their gaze shifts away, that signal changes. So the return look quietly communicates, I'm still with you. And this is especially useful when someone is telling you a story. You don't need to constantly stare. You just don't want your attention to appear permanently somewhere else. Think of your gaze like a conversation rhythm. Away, back, listen, respond. Not. Away, away, phone, ceiling, wall, random person. That makes the other person feel like they're competing for your attention. Trick number 5, the listening lock. Now, this might be the most useful trick in the entire video, because most people think eye contact is about looking confident while speaking. But what about when you're listening? This is where eye contact becomes powerful. Someone is telling you something. Don't interrupt. Don't constantly scan the room. Don't check your phone. Don't let your eyes wander every 2 seconds. Just listen. Look at them naturally. Blink normally. Give small breaks when you need them. Then return your attention. Because faces and gaze carry social information, and eye contact is part of how people coordinate real face-to-face interaction. And here's the crazy part. You don't need an impressive personality trick. You don't need some secret charisma technique. You can make someone feel heard simply by actually paying attention to them. Imagine 2 people. Person A is waiting for their turn to speak. Person B is actually listening. Which one feels more confident? Usually, the second one, because confidence isn't always about dominating the conversation. Sometimes, it's being comfortable enough to stay present. Trick number 6, the exit look. Now, let's talk about something almost nobody teaches. How to end eye contact. The conversation is finished. You both know it. But nobody wants that awkward final moment. So one person suddenly looks down. The other looks at their phone. And somehow, a simple goodbye becomes weird. Here's the trick. When the conversation naturally reaches its end, look at the person. Give them a normal expression. Maybe a small smile. Then, break eye contact smoothly and move on. No sudden escape. No dramatic stare. No looking at the floor. Just close the interaction. This works with the same basic principle we've been using throughout this video. Your gaze should match what is happening socially. When you're listening, look. When you're thinking, it's normal to look away. When you're finishing, let the interaction finish naturally. Because gaze helps regulate face-to-face interaction, including the flow of speech and attention, and once you understand that, eye contact becomes much easier. You're not memorizing rules. You're reading the moment. Trick number 7, the calm eyes. And now, the final trick. The one that can make all the other 6 look completely different. Because here's something most people don't understand. You can have perfect eye contact and still look nervous. Why? Because your eyes aren't working alone. Your whole face is sending information. Imagine someone trying extremely hard to look confident. Their eyes are wide. Their eyebrows are raised. They're barely blinking. Their head is stiff. Their expression looks frozen. They're technically making eye contact. But something feels wrong. So instead of trying to make your eyes look strong, make them look calm. Relax your forehead. Keep your eyebrows natural. Let your eyelids stay relaxed. Blink normally. And keep your gaze steady without turning it into a stare. Think about the difference between I'm trying to look confident and I'm comfortable being here. The second one is much more natural. And this matters because direct gaze doesn't have one universal meaning. Its effects can change depending on the relationship, situation, emotional expression, and social context. So don't turn eye contact into a dominance competition. You're not trying to defeat the person sitting across from you. You're trying to communicate. And that brings us to the real secret. Great eye contact isn't about staring harder. It's about paying attention without becoming rigid. It's about looking without forcing it. It's about knowing when to stay and being comfortable enough to look away. So start with just one technique. Tomorrow, try the soft break. Then practice the 1-second hold. Then the return look. Don't try all 7 at once, because the goal isn't to look like you've memorized 7 eye contact tricks. The goal is for them to eventually become natural, and once that happens, you won't be thinking, am I making enough eye contact? You'll simply be present. And ironically, that's probably the most powerful eye contact trick of all. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more psychology, communication, and human behavior videos.